Hello to my favorite people on the internet. We are back.
Hello.
Hi. How's it going, Grace?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I drank way too much cold brew coffee before this, so I am absolutely ready to talk about the Azure Developer CLI.
That's good. That'll make up for me not getting enough sleep and being a bit tired today. You'll balance me well.
I was tired this morning. My cats were like, I don't know, eager to eat breakfast, and they woke me up super early, and then I overcompensated by drinking an immense amount of cold brew coffee. So we're here and energized. This could be a very manic community call by me.
Great.
Great, love it. Top of the show, there were some eager folks in the chat. What is AZD? What is AZD? We have someone asking right at the top, and before we jump into it, I feel like maybe we should just give a little primer for folks that might be tuning in after Python Day and some other community events that have happened in the last month or so. But yes, the Azure Developer CLI, or AZD, is a higher level kind of application developer friendly command line tool. So you might see, commands like provision, deploy, up, down, leverages infrastructure as code and a declarative kind of paradigm to get your app on Azure. We want to make it as easy as possible for people who don't know about Azure to get their apps all the way up to the cloud. So this community call is really all about what happened in the last release, demos. You get to meet a couple of the AZD team members that we try and bring on some of the engineering team and some of our partners to talk about what's new in AZD. So that's what the Azure Developer CLI is. Did I miss anything? Is there anything else?
No, other than I think that they picked a great first community call to come to. I'm very excited about this call and to show off our new initialization experience. So they picked a good one.
It is true. I feel like, templates have really been kind of the blessed path for AZD for the last, I don't know, since we public previewed, and we're always kind of trying to push to make it easier. And I feel like this was a pretty significant release for us. So likewise, I am also super excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, let's just hop into it. Also, my monitor, which has the presentation, just turned off, so now I couldn't see what was actually on the screen. So that's cool.
That's lovely.
Loving technology this morning. This is number 10. We've been doing this for, I can't believe it's been, 10 on YouTube, I think. And then we did some before we had the Azure Developers channel was kind of ready for us. So I can't believe it's been that many, honestly. Sorry?
Time flies.
Time does fly. I feel like there's like a mild echo for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just me but I don't know. Technology. Okay, well, let's just hop into it. As usual, we do a little team intro because in any given community call, there is a smattering of these folks that come and present. This is the AZD team. This is kind of like the core team of folks that work on AZD. We got engineers, user researchers, design, PM, analytics folks, all helping making the Azure Developer CLI great. What's not listed here is the many community members and partner teams that we have that also support making AZD awesome. So this slide really can't hold all of them. So this is just a little bit of an intro. If you see us on Twitter, GitHub, on the internet in general, come say hi. Let us know what you think. We're always interested to get feedback and hear what AZD is, how AZD is working for you or not working for you. Okay, we're just going straight into demos. And we're starting out strong with a friend we've seen here before. We're excited to bring him back. It's Way. Hi, Way.
Hey, Savannah.
How's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the new feature we have today for all our users.
Yeah, you've been working hard on this and another related feature that we're going to demo in a little bit. But yeah, super excited to talk about this as kind of an experimental V1. So I'll hand it to you to kind of go over the feature.
Yeah, absolutely. And and it hasn't just been me. Again, the product team has been really focused on trying to deliver a nice init experience, right? And I think, Savannah, as you mentioned earlier, Currently, users, when they run init, they try to choose a template that kind of matches the app they're trying to build. And it does involve, bringing in a lot more files, right? And application code that developer doesn't necessarily have a lot of understanding about, right? And so with the improved init experience, what we're trying to do is kind of change it so that we don't actually provide you with the whole template, but just enough for you to get started on Azure. And so it's pretty cool. If you have an existing app and let's say it runs locally, or maybe you have it hosted somewhere else, what you can do with this new feature is you can run azd init in the directory of your application, and azd init will actually look at the projects that might be under that directory. So there could be like a front-end service, a back-end service, and we would provide you with the necessary files to actually get you on Azure. And we do that by still leveraging infrastructure as code bicep files. So that's pretty neat. We also put a file there. We call it nextsteps.md, right? That kind of helps you explain to you as a user, like what just happened, and maybe even some tips on how to troubleshoot and where to go from there, right? But this is kind of like how we think about maybe a nicer landing experience for people that don't necessarily know a ton of Azure, right? But want to get something just up and running. Well, with the new init experience, you can. And more than that, we also support things like specific database servers like MongoDB and Postgre, where we would actually detect that for Python and Node.js, where if you have an existing library that you're using, we might already see that and provide you that option. But if you don't, you can still add it yourself. And so what this would end up doing is also provisioning the database for you. So I think it's pretty neat, and I'm happy to showcase it. But maybe before that, I'll also talk about the other feature that we have, which is complementary.
Yeah, let me switch slides. I'll also say that this feature is, I want to emphasize, experimental. There are probably 1 million edge cases for us to go chase down. And so we're rolling this feature out slowly over the next couple weeks to make sure that we're not hugely degrading the AZD deployment experience. But if you try it out and you see it and you have feedback, small, big, bad, good, come tell us about it. We want to make this super good to support your workflow, and also expand this offering potentially in the future to support other Azure hosts or other database offerings, other languages. And so anything you can share is really, really valuable to us. But yeah, let's talk about Buildpacks too.
Yeah. So I don't know if people caught it in the previous slide, but one of the hosts that we're targeting for the start for the improved init experience is going to be container apps, right? Because it is really cool, right? It's managed Kubernetes for a lot of people. You don't have to worry about the cluster, but there's a very easy way for you to deploy apps through containers. And so one of the difficulties I think people have is, well, Docker isn't always the most straightforward thing to write. And so with this release, we've also enabled in alpha Buildpack support. So this is cloud. What we're doing is we're leveraging. There's a standard called Cloud Native Buildpacks, right? And so it describes a way that different cloud vendors and cloud providers can transform your source code into container images. And so we've kind of partnered with the Oryx team at Microsoft, and they have a Oryx build that already is running right now in Azure. Anytime you deploy your source code to things like app service, the Oryx builder runs and transforms your and builds your application. So here we're taking that one step further and transforming your source into container images, right? And so it is an alpha, but you can see there, you can enable it through the alpha feature flag, and then all you have to do to test the flow is to run azd package. And if you don't have a Docker file, we'll package it up for you. In the output, you can see on the right, it says it will build Docker image from source. So it's, again, I think just like the other feature, right? I think we're still early in experimental mode, and so there's definitely going to be rough edges, but it is pretty cool to be able to get your app containerized without writing any Docker files.
Yeah, and just to I guess emphasize you can use this with the new simplified initialization flow, or independently. You can just use Buildpacks straight up if you don't want to write a Docker file. But I guess like the TLDR is like these features are both like the simplified init is like no template, no problem. Buildpacks, no Docker file, no problem. We'll get it onto Azure, y'all. Vivek has a question. Is Buildpacks a replacement for Docker for local development?
Yeah, so it still requires, unfortunately, right? It still requires you to have a Docker like community edition installed and Docker daemon running, right? The thing it probably does, I think exactly how Savannah said it, right? It really is just it avoids you having to write a Docker file, right? If you're using something that's already well known, a language that's well known, there's a very prescribed way to build the application, right? So how can I get an image with the compiled or with the package application without writing a Docker file? Well, Buildpacks is exactly that.
Yeah, exactly. Michael says, very cool idea. I also think it's pretty cool. I think we're really trying to like support all developers, and like part of all developers includes folks that are completely new to Azure. And so I think both of these features are valuable kind of across the board, but especially for those who are like, I don't really know what services I need to use. I don't know how they work together. I just know that I want to get my application hosted somewhere so that I can like make it a meaningful thing. I think that both of these features really support you in trying to get there without the overhead, but still non-magical, right? Like nothing is really hidden. It is declarative infrastructure as code. You can go down, click through the modules that we've defined, understand kind of the configurations and settings as you need to. Not really like on day zero, but maybe as your application requirements change, or you have something you want to grow up your application, change a SKU to be more production grade. Totally able to do that, but just trying not to give you all the overhead on day one. But yeah. What else? Wait, is there like a? Do you want us? Is there a screen? Are you screen sharing or?
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Okay.
Let's see.
While Way's pulling this up, I'll also like shamelessly plug that tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, I'm going to be demoing this initialization feature end to end on the VS Code live stream. So if you're interested in watching me present this for the first time and actually get an application not ready for Azure, AZDified and up onto Azure using this flow, I'm going to take an application and kind of wire things up to get it there. And so if you're interested and want to see how that works, join me tomorrow morning. I will be up super early giving that for the first time. So how's the screen share going, Way?
Oh, so it looks like technology has hit us again. It looks like I might need to restart something on my side real quick to just my browser.
Okay. Well, we can bring you back in a second, and we can pull Wallace up to talk a little bit about the custom template sources, and then we'll bring you back to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, we will see you in a second. Oh, I just like totally cut Way off. I'm really sorry about that, Way. It wasn't you, it was me.
You're very happy with the buttons of it's a lot of power.
Well, here's the thing, the caffeine is just like, I have so much, like I feel very energized, but also StreamYard, there's like no delay. And I always expect there to be a delay because like Teams taking a second to like pull people up and down. Like, I don't know when the video turns on. Anyway, that's excuses on my end. Okay. Custom template sources. Another person who's been on the call many times. Let's bring up Wallace. Hey, Wallace, how's it going?
Hey, Savannah. Hey, Grace. How's everybody doing?
Great. Energized, as you can tell.
Yes. I need some more coffee myself, so
yeah,
I'll be doing that right after this.
Okay.
Yeah, so thanks for having me back. So I'm here to tell you about a new feature we're calling custom template sources. And if anybody of you have used AZD before, whether you've done AZD init in the past or some other commands like AZD template list, we used to just kind of have a hard-coded set of templates available for you all to explore. They were all kind of variations of our to-do template in different languages. You've also heard us talk a ton about awesome AZD in the past. So if you've heard about community contributions or new templates being available on awesome AZD, that's a great gallery of templates that are compatible with AZD. And so now we're kind of starting to merge those two together and also giving you all a little bit more control of kind of composing your own template sources. So as of the last release of AZD, when you run AZD template list or go through the AZD init experience, you'll now see a list of all the awesome AZD templates that are out there and available. So that's kind of like a real-time feed. We pull it down from our template store there, and you can choose any of those templates and kind of have a really easy jumping off point. And in addition to that, we now have the ability for you to author your own template sources. And this is a very simple JSON schema that you could create yourselves. We support either kind of local file path references or any kind of URL HTTP path. And you can set up your own template sources for you to leverage on your system. If you're part of an organization using AZD and you want to author your own kind of private internal template source for your own templates, you can definitely do that as well and share them with your team members. So it's just a really great way to just bring a set of templates together, make them available to you and your team members, and just even give you that faster kind of init experience for getting a new app up and running to deploy to Azure.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this because I think it's like one of the first features we have that really lets you customize your AZD experience. And I know that I think we have a lot of stuff kind of coming later on in the next 6 months or so that's going to further allow you to make AZD really your own. Yeah, I'm super excited about this feature. Also, to have the awesome AZD templates actually in product, I think is super valuable.
Yeah, and that's immediate. As soon as we accept a new contribution into Awesome AZD, it becomes immediately available within AZD CLI.
All the more reason to contribute templates to the gallery, y'all. Being
Yeah.
in product in AZD. So
yeah, free publicity for everybody.
What can I say? Cool, awesome.
Yeah, so I have a quick demo I could show if everybody's interested in taking a look.
Yeah, let's. I'll add you to the stage, your screen to the stage. Let's do that. There you go.
Okay, cool. So I'll just kind of start off today with if you just run the AZD template list, you'll now see this kind of whole list of templates right out of the box. This is the new default experience. You'll see Awesome AZD, which still includes all of our to-do templates in here. And if I run an AZD init and I select the selected template flow, you'll see those same templates, and you have the ability to filter things. So if you're looking for kind of a Flask app or something like that, you can search for Flask and you'll see all the great Flask things that Pamela Fox has contributed in the past. So really quick and easy way to kind of see and find something that you're looking to kind of try out with AZD or just try out on Azure in general. So now let's kind of just cancel out of that flow, and I'll show you how easy it is to kind of author your own template source. So here is a very simple JSON file that I constructed. It's a simple schema, it's an array of objects that has a name, description, and a repository path. This repository path can either be local on GitHub, like pointing to your repo, your username / your repo, or it could be a fully qualified repo path as well on GitHub, Azure DevOps, whatever source control system you're using. And so I'm going to switch back over to AZD here. And let's see, I'm going to add a new template source. And there's a few commands in AZD that we added. So under AZD template source, this is a new kind of command group. You could add, remove, list all of the sources here. And here we're just going to set a couple parameters here. We're going to say this is a file type source, and we're going to give it a local path to a templates.json that I just showed. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. So that was added. So now anytime that you run AZD template list, whether it's init experience or not, you'll see kind of those new templates pop out on the bottom here. So these are coming from that local source. And just to kind of take that one step further, I authored a similar template, and I created an Azure storage account, and I published the JSON file to that Azure storage account. And I'm using a SaaS-based URL here as well. So it's a private link only available to the people that you share it with. I can add this as an AZD template source. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And now AZD template list will now give us our both remote and local things that I just created. So, that storage example, that would be maybe an easy way that you could share privately within your organization using a SaaS-based URL. And there'll be a bunch of other cool features kind of building upon this over time to even give you more flexibility within your organizations for how you want to manage templates. So just a quick and easy experience. Hope you all have fun trying it out.
Yeah, and you can remove any of these sources too if you didn't want to see them, right?
Yep. Yeah, you could see AZD template source list will show you all of your sources, and then you could easily remove one of these. So I could say source remove, and I think I called it remote, and that one is now gone. So
Sweet. Yeah,
and
and I
this
will
all gets
also.
stored inside of AZD's local configuration file.
Yep. Yep. And I will also say that now that we've added these template sources, I don't know if you've been using AZD for a while, you'll know that we've been on a slow quest to making all of our command output use kind of the same design language. And so expect a bit of an upgrade update on kind of what the table here looks like now that we've added a bit more flexibility, probably in the next couple months or so. So just wanted to plug that too. We're always looking to make the UI a little bit nicer too. Cool. Well, thanks, Wallace. Any questions, folks, about this feature? Vivek said, "I'll pray demo gods." Yeah, I mean, you always have to pray to the demo gods when you're doing a live demo on stream for the first time. We keep it real here. Cool. All right.
All right.
Well,
thanks for having me.
See you in a bit.
Yep.
Bye. Okay, we're gonna bring. I think Way's ready now. I see a screen share. I see Way. We're zoomed in. It's crisp. We're ready to go. All right, Way, give us the TLDR. Give us the lowdown.
All right. Well, all right. Let's see what the new Simplified init experience looks like. Well, first of all, I have here open up in Visual Studio Code, right? Just a simple Flask Python app, right? Just serves static files, right? So with the new AZD init experience, what you notice is that there's a new option here to initialize using code in the current directory. If you do that, AZD will scan and detect services under the current directory. And so here's telling me, oh, there's a Python project that's located under the current directory. And it will use container apps to host the app. And so here, it's not a worry if we don't get things right. There is, if you see here, right, there's a remove or add option that you can always use to modify this prompt and kind of finalize the detection before you continue. But here, everything looks good, so I'm just going to confirm and continue. And just like the normal AZD experience, you're asked to enter environment name. If you don't know what that is, right, you can look at the help text, but essentially it's just naming it so that you can have different copies of it in Azure. So for this purpose, then I will just use mycat app. And that's all that was needed. So now what we've actually done is we've created a few files here, the azure.yaml, right? And so this is the standard AZD project file that kind of describes your application. We've created a next steps for you to read through and also help guide you along your Azure journey. And all the infrastructure as code files under the infra folder. So that's pretty neat. And let's take a look at them, right? So in azure.yaml, you can see that it correctly describes my application. I have a service and it's given the name cat app, but this is something you could change. And it runs on container apps with the language Python. In next steps, we can see that it provides some useful information about what you might need to do. For example, if you need to configure your app differently, and you can set environment variables, and we show you exactly where in the bicep file you could go to. But in this case, if everything looks right, you could also just run AZD up, and that will actually just bring your app up to Azure. And to peek a little, right, the way we've done is we've not hidden anything from you. What we've done is actually just provided you with a skeleton of what the bicep files with IAC would look like, right? And so that's your main.bicep entry point. We've put in a few directories for your app folder, some modules that might be useful, and the shared resources that developers usually share across services. So all that is pretty neat. This is all ready for you to go, right? And if you just ran AZD up here, which I'll do right now, it will actually provision and deploy your application. And the bicep files, again, it's just a regular bicep file, so you can always extend this, modify it if you know bicep, and that's cool. But if you don't, again, you have the default experience that kind of works.
And in a way, just like so that folks, because I know there's quite a few files that are shown here, but really like the structure of the like the infra directory, we've basically structured it as modules so that if you were to like look at this for the first time, you don't necessarily have to go into shared or lib. You're probably going to want to hang out in like main.bicep or catapp.bicep. And like you can drill down into each one of those, again, non-magical, super transparent. But trying to like it's like code navigation, right? Like you don't necessarily need to know all of the, like if you were using, I don't know, like a data science package, for instance, you don't necessarily have to know about all of the computations that happen under the hood, but you know how to use the like kind of use the function or use stuff in there to get the job done. And so we're really trying to have that same kind of like progressive disclosure here. And that's why it's broken up into so many files. We could, in theory, actually have all of this in one file, but it would just be a very large file. So trying to keep it higher level for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, I think it works really well, right, with modern IDEs like Visual Studio Code, where oftentimes you don't even really remember where files are. Really, it's about the open by file navigation, right? And so like splitting the files this way also helps you kind of easily navigate and your directory. So that's also pretty neat.
And I guess like one other thing, like Wei, if you can talk a little bit maybe about the SKUs that we've chosen for this experience and maybe like the overall kind of cost, because I know that comes up a lot for people, but I want to like, I run all my personal websites on container apps and they're super cost effective. Maybe you can talk a bit about that.
Yeah, like the SKUs we're choosing is not actually that high, right? So it is like, but for most like lightweight applications, you would generally be fine, right? So like we're specifying, 1 vCPU with 2 gigs of memory, and that's like actually pretty lightweight, and it also scales based on demand, right? Like it's something that if you're trying to make this productionized, so you might want to think about that. But if you're running this like as just something to play around with, or even something that's used internally, I think this would work pretty well.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm hosting my personal websites on container apps, and these aren't like high production grade applications, but they're only costing me like a couple bucks a month. Like it's like pretty, lowish traffic. It's up there. But I don't really have to, I'm not worried about the cost, I guess.
right, and that's really I think the beauty about hosting stuff in the cloud, right, is you can get really cheap compute if you look for it.
Yep. Okay, cool. I just wanted to touch on that so that folks were aware.
Yep. And then let me see if I can get this. Might be a little bit. Let me just go to the other screen here, right, so that we have a better view. I'm demoing across on a laptop right now, so it does screen view SA is a little bit limited, right? So also in this app, right, like there is no Docker file, right? And so showing off the new Buildpacks experience is that when you run package and there's no Docker file, right, we'll just tell you that, hey, we're going to build the Docker image from source, and you get the Docker, in this case the pack CLI's output here, and yeah, so you still get a build container at the end, but that's about it. And then by the power of demo magic, I've also ran AZD up on this same app just to show you that what that flow would look like, right? So when you run AZD up, it will package the application, provision resources, and deploy services. And if you click on this link here, this is actually the running app in Azure, right? You can see it's the container app URL, right? And it's up and running. So that's really all I needed to do to get the simple cat app, where the cat will swipe at you every time you press the button to get it running on Azure.
This app always makes me smile. As a cat person, I know you're a cat person too. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I guess the one other thing I want to mention, I know that like AI is all the rage right now, and so I just want to, I guess, make it clear this is not using any like AI stuff. There's no like there's no like we're not sending your your files anywhere. It's like based on very basic heuristics and like looking at different file like extensions or like well-known files in different kind of project types. So like for Python, understanding requirements txt or things like that. Also, all of the the things we're looking for, AZD is wholly open source, and so we have this list kind of in source code that you could take a look at. If you find that we're not detecting something that we should be, like Wei and I were talking the other day about how we weren't checking for async PG for Python, which is used for Postgres. We got that added. But if you find something that we didn't detect for your database or something like that, open a pull request, file an issue on us. Like all of this is publicly available.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, right, like I think the beauty is like the troubleshooting flow, right? There is a way for you to manually add it if we don't detect it right away. But absolutely, write the issue, submit the PR and make the experience better for everyone.
Yep. And so yeah, this was, I think, a really good overview. I'm tomorrow morning I'll be showing a bit less of a trivial app in that it has like a backend and it's connected to Postgres. So I'll be talking a bit about how environment variables flow through and stuff like that. Yeah, so if you're interested in learning more about that, definitely join. But overall, very excited for this feature. I think should hopefully make everyone's lives a lot easier.
Yep. Yeah. And then again, we'll see. It would be great to hear about any feedback and any experiences people might have with the feature. So we're always looking for that.
Big or small, nothing is too. No feedback is too small. So reach out. Okay, this was, I think I'm super excited about this. So super awesome. Thank you, Wei. We will bring you back in a bit after talking to Nitya. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, see you in a bit.
See ya.
Bye. All right, I'm gonna take Wei down. I'm gonna bring up my slides again. We have not had Nitya on the call before. Nitya is an honorary, I would say like an honorary member of this team. Nitya is famous for actually building the first prototype of our awesome AZD template gallery last year. So if you love that website, this is the person to thank for making that happen.
Well, I have to return the favor and say, oh, by the way, hi, I'm Nitya, is that we have a synergistic relationship with Savannah because I'm here to talk about Contoso. We debuted it at Bill and Savannah presented it there, if you remember. And she sat the night before and said, we got to get this on Awesome AZD, and my whole world just connected. So it was amazing. So yes, thank you so much.
It's a constant partnership. But yeah, super excited to hear about the famous Contoso real estate app. If you are not familiar, this is like how many stars does Contoso real estate have on GitHub?
I think it exceeded 500 now.
Yeah.
I know if you go to Azure samples right now, it's actually one of the pinned repos because it hit number 6, meaning that the number of stars is so high it's more than everything else except it's in the top 6. So, and it's still growing. And I think the interesting thing about the stars is like we just debuted at Bill, right? Like so it's May. So this has been super valuable for us. And I think more importantly, getting more people to use it is actually showcasing the things we need to fix in it. So it's constantly evolving. And like the story with AZD and code spaces is just too good to be true. So I'm super happy to be here. I can jump in and talk briefly about it and then switch to my slides if that works.
Yeah.
All right. But also, I want to tell you, I'm not going to forgive you for dropping custom templates on me. Now I got to go look at it. That is so cool. Okay. All right. We're done. All right, so I want to talk about the Contoso real estate reference sample, but I also want to talk about something called Fall for Intelligent Apps, which is an initiative going right now where we will be walking through the Contoso real estate reference sample in 4 sessions. But first, let me tell you what it is.
Wait, Nitya, do you want me to switch to your slide? Or...
Yeah, switch to my slides and we can come back. And
okay.
I like drawing, so what can I say? But this slide is actually really great because it also connects to what Azure Awesome AZD does. In other words, Awesome AZD's got a full bunch of open source templates that give you something out of the box, right? Contoso is one of those templates. And these templates are really reference samples that you can kind of jumpstart, you got yourself scaffolded something, and off you go. So what makes a good reference sample? It's really something that gives you a paved path where you can go from like knowing just fundamentals to having an entire solution deployed in Azure with 2 clicks of a button and 1 tool, which is pretty cool. Most importantly, it teaches you good patterns and it provides coverage. So what is Contoso? I'm actually going to switch over for a second to, I should be in the right window, to say our journey as usual starts with AZD. So what happens is if you want to go look for Contoso, go in and look for enterprise app patterns. Go ahead, turn on and look for JavaScript. And when you do this, you should in fact see one template. This is the Contoso real estate template. What you can do is click on over here. It should take you over to the Contoso real estate. Go ahead and click code spaces. Now, when I try to open another code space, you can see I have a ton of them, so I'm not going to open yet another one. But what you would actually do is you would fork a repo. You'll notice that a fork already exists. You'd fork to a new repo, and then you would actually open the code space in that repo.
Nitya, can you do a zoom and enhance for us?
Of course I can.
You gotta like Sarah Kaiser's here. Good
Oh,
friend,
no.
good friend of ours. Yeah. Okay, I think
Sarah's
that's good.
the other person who sketches. I just want to say, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say if it's not zoomed in enough, let us know. I think it should be
okay.
Good.
Are we good?
I'll
also, so when you actually fork this, the whole flow from is pick the template, go to the repo, fork it, start a code space. Starting the code space takes 6 minutes. So I thought I'd make life easier and actually show you a video of what that looks like. So you know that we actually did it, but you don't have to worry about me sitting here for 6 minutes wasting time. Is this good enough for everyone to see, or should I zoom in further? So this is what the process looks like. You're going to go ahead, fork that, copy the main branch, create a fork, done. Then go ahead, I'm going to move this fast, go and create the code space. You can go local or code space, create a code space on main. You're going to start setting up a code space in GitHub. It's going to build a container. You can find out what code spaces are. We actually did a really good talk on how that is. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Goes and 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 goes. And 6 minutes later, you have yourself a wonderful development environment. Now I'm going to go show you the development environment. Now, why is this important? I always say this. I mean, like, to me, the first time I saw this, I was like, this is ridiculous. Okay, I remember when, I'm going to date myself here. I remember when we used to have like tiny floppy disks that contain all our code. Now I'm running an enterprise grade app in a browser tab. I mean, like, this is insane. Like, how is this happening, right? That's the power of code spaces. We have a VM in the back, and if you're interested in this, definitely go check out. I'll send you a link to a session we did that explains it all. But here, I want to talk to you about the architecture. So why is Contoso real estate important? Remember I was talking about the paved path? It turns out that when you kind of come to all of these, you're like, you're learning training, you build your toy apps. You really don't have 1,000 users for your app, right? You maybe have 10 and your grandmom, but they're not going to really stress test it. So you joined a job, and then they're like, okay, we've got 1,000 users, go. You need a reference architecture that you can use in a sandbox that you can learn from to kind of fill that gap in your knowledge. And that is what this is. This is a multi-scenario app. I'm going to show you now. I've already got it running. You saw what that was. You'll know it's running when you've got 9 ports open. And then we can go and see what the experience looks like. So I'm actually going to go ahead and open this, and you'll see that this is the Contoso real estate. The idea is that you've got a company that needed this kind of real estate app because they're hiring and they want their new employees during onboarding to go find rental housing. So you needed an app that would have, like, find me housing nearby. I want to see the details. When I find out, I'm not going to log in because I don't want to show all my password and stuff, but I have a demo recording there. But you can go and you can actually log in here, book the kind of like reservation, get yourself payments, etc. So this one thing has got a whole bunch of these different aspects implemented in a multi-scenario app using what we call as a composable architecture. Now, what does that mean? It means that we want a constant, like every time there might be someone who comes and says there is no might about it. Your boss is going to come and say, how are we integrating AI into this? And we're like, okay, one more Lego block on the stack, right? So you want to be able to compose new things on the fly. And that's the power of having a decoupled front end and back end. We have containers, cloud native, microservices on the backside. We have micro front ends. We have an API that abstracts them. The architecture teaches you how to do it. Do I have 5 minutes to do one more fun thing,
Yeah.
Savannah?
Yeah.
All right. So what we want to do is, okay, I got to do this careful. There are actually 2 different demos in here, but first I got to give a shout out to this. The initiative that we're doing is called Fall for Intelligent Apps. You can go to aka.ms/fall4ia. Go look for the Learn Live tab, because this Contoso real estate, we are literally deconstructing it. We're showing you how to tear it down and understand how it works in 4 episodes. There's also a bunch of other initiatives on here, so you should check them out. But I had to do this because our very own Savannah is going to come and talk in the last episode. So don't forget to come and hassle her on the 4th one. But ideally, what we're going to try to teach you is in the first one, which is already done. You can go check here and register. First one teaches you what Contoso is and sets up your development environment. Then we're going to walk through the portal. We're going to walk through the backend. Then we're going to show you how or what the technologies are for deploying it and testing it with Playwright. But now I want to show you my moment of Zen. We all know Stack Overflow, right? We all know Stack Overflow. When you have a problem and you don't know how to solve it, you go to Stack Overflow. That's because you know what your problem is. But what about when you don't know what you don't know, right? You're like, what do you do then? So I want to show you what Copilot Chat does. Can I show this for a second, Savannah?
Yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity to show like how Copilot, this like composable architecture that is, I would say stressed, like is the upper bound of what AZD, you know, like I think this, there are very few apps I think that really show all, like this is a large application running with
exactly
via AZD. I think it's a really good example.
Yeah, and so, you know, think to yourself, right? Like you want to learn how to build something like this. You're not going to have me, or actually I should give credit. The whole thing here has been done by Natalia Vendito. She's the architect behind this. So check her out as Amphibia Creativa on Twitter, and the JavaScript advocacy team. So hi, Wasim, Johan, and Glaucia. But the thing in this is that if you look at the architecture, and if you look at the code, there's a ton of packages that are different. It's composed by having each team build something and then stack them together. So here you come, first day on the job, boss throws you in and say, you're maintaining this, please go fix bugs. And you're like, wait, what? So the idea here is we can use something like Copilot. Even if, and I actually tested this before I came on here. So let's say you didn't have Savannah in your pocket, right? And you're like, I'm seeing this AZD, I have no idea what that is. You can ask Copilot, it can be like, what is Azure Developer CLI, right? And it's like, it's going to be, it was actually pretty good about it. We'll see if it does its job. I'm going to move this aside. And it actually does a pretty good job, but it tells you the wrong one. It's like, oh, so now you see Savannah, you got to go work on them. But then
we're too new at this point still.
No, but then see, I asked, how is Azure YAML? So I'm going to select the Azure YAML file. Let's see if this works, because it worked for me on us offline, but demo gods, whoever told me it was a demo.
Yeah, it's true. Someone already told us out on that.
Yes. So I tried this, right? I said, how is Azure YAML used by the Azure Developer CLI? And it thought about it, and it actually explained it to me. Isn't this amazing? I think it's kind of good. I don't know. What do you say? Do you feel that it's a correct explanation? I don't know. It's not always going to be right, but it's
partially correct. Like the thing. Oh, it does say you would typically do this.
Yeah, so we have to fix all of these. But more importantly, I can actually do things like, you didn't know what def container was, so you can say, hey, explain this, right? I'm just going to say I'm selecting def container and say explain this. And it's going to tell me that this is for code spaces and how to set it up, right? So my point was not that it's not perfect, but it's like I never leave VS Code anymore. I don't have to go to a browser and search for it on Stack Overflow. I can ask it things inside. And other things are like YAML, the format. I can actually ask it, hey, what exactly is this doing? And it will tell me. So anyway, long story short is I think we're trying to do 3 things with this. One is development environment. Code spaces make sure that everyone in your team has the exact same environment. That's defcontainer.json. And Azure Developer CLI makes sure that everyone has the exact same deployment experience with your infrastructure as code filing, right? So the bigger picture we're saying is when you build enterprise-grade apps, start with AZD templates, ship them, and then try to deploy with this. And last shout out, please come check out these series, because you will come and understand how to actually deconstruct this giant application, look at the different parts, understand how to build them, understand how to deploy them, and understand how they work under the covers. Did I make it?
You made it. I mean, we had, I think you're making good time. I do think that call out on like code spaces and like that reproducibility and AZD and reproducibility is sort of like, every I don't know, it's like the handshake meme, you know, where it's like we both want we want it to be reproducible and easy to share with our colleagues, our friends, our coworkers. And I think dev containers are arguably one of my favorite pieces of technology right now, honestly.
Oh my God, 100%. I'm going to actually put this picture because this is the one that made everything come together for me, if you can see it. I think this is the one that Codespaces puts on theirs. So when you talk about container, when I saw this, it kind of like opened my mind to the fact we all take for granted that our container is like, Docker, local desktop and all that. But when you run it in Codespaces, they actually support more than one IDE. Savannah, I know you're a Python person, so I was going to tell you this. I found this out, that you can actually have Jupyter connect to a Codespace running a Jupyter notebook, right? And it just works. So I really, really love this. And I think they had this very nice example that to me made sense. And this is where I connected the dots in my mind to what development really means versus deployment. And that is that with Codespaces and dev containers particularly, you have that runtime, you've defined it in a consistent way through the entire path from design through to deploy. And that makes our life easy, right? Because we're like, okay, if my customer then says, I have a problem, I don't need to say, what was your installation? What is your configuration? I can just be like, okay, we're going to jump into the same environment and debug together. So yeah, I'm just such a fan of Codespaces. But anyway.
I mean, as a Python developer, for me, it's ironed out a lot of I think it irons out a lot of the runtime acquisition, package management. I can just hit the ground. I can have my dev container defined and then hit the ground running in local VS Code. I don't even have to pay for Codespaces, right? I can just I think that's also super compelling if you run out of your Codespaces credits or whatever, right? But I think that declarative model, even if you don't understand configuration as code or infrastructure as code, that value prop I think does resonate, where it's I don't want to have to, those are not the fun parts of engineering. Those are the things that should not slow you down. And I think both AZD and Codespaces have that kind of that flavor, that in mind, right?
100%. And I think I've talked to a lot of developers about this, right? When you talk to a developer, they're going to say, what is my number one thing? What's the one resource that I want you to save? It's always time. Right? Yeah. They're like, save me time. And so when I think about this, when you even want to, let's say we want to go teach Contoso in a workshop, I'm saving all that time where we do setup. I'm not telling you bring this and then go around and say, please go check this. Yeah. No, we dive straight in. And I also like the idea, and I say this to every learner out there, go check out open source repos like this, fork them and play with them, because once you start playing with them, the fear goes away, right? It's in your sandbox. You're not hurting anyone, but you learn when you break things.
Yeah. And then you can
my son here to say that, but yeah, you learn when you break things.
And then if you break things, you can blow your environment away and start again pretty easily if you're just playing around with it. So
exactly. What's the worst that can happen? Delete your resource group and redeploy, and you actually learn more in that process. There's actually I was thinking that we should do we're deconstructing Contoso, and then we should reconstruct it, but maybe try a different technology. And since you brought up Python, I'll tell you, my 14-year-old, I'm trying to teach him Python. I'm JavaScript. It turns out that when you have stuff like this and you have a Copilot, I can literally do a talk on how to learn Python as a JavaScript developer now, right?
Yeah.
Because we make connections in our head that people don't really think about. But when someone says, well, this is like that in JavaScript, they're like, oh, okay, gotcha. Let's move in. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. But definitely, folks, check out the Learn Live series. Natalia and Nitya had one last week. I think are you doing one again tomorrow?
Yes, so go check this out. It's tomorrow. The easiest way for you to find it is to go to aka.ms/fall4ia, which is this site. And under this site, if you kind of land up on there, go into the Fall for Intelligent Apps, click on Learn Live, all 4 sessions. If you go to the session for tomorrow, it should take you to a registration page. Yes, there we go. And just go ahead and register. And the thing will also be taped. But we'd love to see you live, because we can take your questions and actually answer them. More importantly, you get to you fork this and play along with us, which would be super important. Yeah. And yes, definitely come for the last one.
Yeah, come hang out. It'll be fun. Nitya and I are going to do it together.
Yes.
Okay, this was so lovely. It was. I love just talking about technology with you, Nitya. I feel like the energy I get from you is unparalleled, I would say.
I forgot. Okay, next I'm going to send you and Grace one copy each. I did start drawing it. You wrote so much in that module. What is 4 pages, man? I'm at 4 and growing, so it'll get there. But
yeah, if you are all unfamiliar, Nitya's illustrations, I'll switch back to this slide just so you can see it. Like Nitya's illustrations, I would say, are famous. I think Satya retweeted you once, right?
Yeah, my moment of zen is Satya retweeted me, and then if you actually go to my build, we literally did the entire build book of news in one shot. And then I think Scott Guthrie still has his keynote. I sketchnote. It's the only post on his LinkedIn profile, which I think is like, yeah, Microsoft. Who knew I would come to Microsoft and like my sketchnote would make it, right? But I mean, was my moment of zen. Amazing, yeah.
I have to say, I was like coming back from Costco last night, and I saw your tweet that you were doing one for AZD, and I would like, I gasped. I felt so honored. I'm so excited to see.
I will go one step further. Do you see that thing behind me over there, that lamp? Yeah. That is the sketch note for the Surface Duo docs, printed into a lampshade, okay? So there you go. You can shed light on it in your talks next time. There we go.
Yeah, iconic. Yeah, we should have it like, I don't know, like maybe we should have it as like an asset that people can download on the template gallery website or something. That would be super.
Yeah, it should point out the thing it'll point them to is the learn path. I think it's a
yeah.
It would be super awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. So we are gonna we'll say goodbye to you for a second, then we'll bring you back up. We're just gonna close out on the regular news content for AZD this month. But thank you so much, Nitya. This was so interesting and fun.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, Grace. What I need to like get situated again. I have so many things on the screen right now. All right, Grace. Who do we have to thank this month?
We're thanking Aaron Powell. He added the Terraform and Bicep to our starter templates. Thank you, Aaron. He's contributed, I think, for the past few months. So thank you. And there are a few people who came in and contributed like after like technically the end of this release, but so we'll thank you in our next community call.
Yeah, they'll make it in the next community call. But yeah, especially with this new feature, like if you want like a way to contribute to AZD, help us shape the like detection for the new simplified initialization process. I feel like that is like that would be so wonderful. And templates as always.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then as always, we'll call for feedback and also for signing up for future user research opportunities. We did finish like our first round of that research for the init experience that came out that we talked about earlier. But we're always taking signups for future user research opportunities. So you can visit that short link there and be on our list of people who would be interested in helping us shape the future of AZD.
Yeah, I think this in the next, I don't know, 6-ish months, like I think we have a number of kind of studies that we're planning for around documentation and like more around the simplified init process. And so like if you're interested, it would be super awesome to talk to you. Also, like if you don't want to sign up for like something super formal, you can always ping me on like social media or any of us, and like we would just be happy to have the conversation casually as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
All right, it's that time. We'll bring people back, Nitya and Wei, and let me hide this. Are there any questions, folks? This was like I think this was like a high energy community call, both because of the presenters and also because I drank way too much cold brew. Again, I'm still feeling it. An hour-ish later. Any comments, questions? Otherwise, I mean, we talk about stuff that we're like excited about that's coming, if that's interesting to folks. We just finished doing some planning for the next semester. I'm grateful that it's done, but I think it was a good exercise for us to get ready for kind of the next wave of AZD now that we're kind of post GA.
Mm-hmm.
Comments, questions. Also,
I'll put a shout out to if I'm actually going to be at React Summit in New York City in November. There are talks about some of this stuff. So if anyone's out in New York, if you're attending React Summit or just there in New York, just say hi. I'd love to kind of connect up to the community and see what you're all up to.
Yeah, we also will. We're getting ready, I think, too, for Ignite and GitHub Universe in November. and I should have some updates to share maybe in the next community call around that. But I feel like we had conference season with like Build, and I did PyCon and stuff, and then it was like a little slower in the summer, and now it's like picking right back up again. I thought it was going to be a quiet end of the year. I was mistaken. It's good busy though.
You going to All Things Open? Anyone here?
No, I'm not, but I
next time you should make AZD Go next time. All Things Open, open source conference. I think this would be a great topic.
Yeah. I missed the PFP for that one, I think. I don't know if I feel like one of the Python CDAs is going. Maybe they're in the chat. Maybe I'm mistaken. Someone I knew was going. Gwen's going.
Gwen might be going. PyData NYC CFP is also open. If you're, but I'm not sure if anyone here is in New York. But that's might be a good one too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're like closing in on time. I think we might just wrap here. But again, thanks for joining, folks. Appreciate the excitement in the chat. If you have comments, thoughts, feelings about AZD, any of the new features, as always, come talk to us. I would be elated to talk to you about the experience, good or bad. Don't be afraid to give us like critical feedback too. That helps us make AZD a lot better. So otherwise, we will catch you all next year shortly following the 1.4.0 release at the beginning of October. So stay tuned for a kind of mid-October announcement for the next community call. Okay. Going once, going twice. All right, I think that's it. Well, thanks, folks. Really appreciate it. This was super fun, as always. And I will catch you all next month.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, friends.